I was able to pull about 600 megabits per second down. If you're having trouble with Wi-Fi connectivity around your house, a mesh Wi-Fi network could easily be your solution, but you have to find the right devices that actually work correctly. So today we're actually looking at the Taotronics whole home mesh Wi-Fi system with AC3000 tri-band mesh router technology. That's a mouthful, but hopefully it works as good as many words that I just said. I mean, overall, looking at the design on the packaging, it looks like a very nice setup, very clean, very modern, very minimalistic. This particular setup right here comes with the main router along with one mesh Wi-Fi hub. So you can actually pair up more than one of these so you can blanket your entire house with Wi-Fi connectivity and get as many as you need to fit the bill. Being that this is a tri-band setup, it actually has not only 400 megabits per second on 2.4 gigahertz and 866 megabits per second on 5 gigahertz, but also the third band of 5.8 gigahertz with up to 1733 megabits per second. It's rated for Wi-Fi speeds up to 3000 megabits per second, has wireless standards IEEE 802.11b and 2.4 gigahertz along with IEEE 802.11 AC, N, and A at 5 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz. Whew! It supports MIMO, beamforming, multi-hop, smart roaming, fast roaming, has USB 3.0 ports so you can connect printers and hard drives, 4 gigabit Ethernet ports, Bluetooth 5.0, and other stuff that all routers have. Packaging actually looks very sleek, very nice, very modern. This is supposed to be a Wi-Fi dead zone killer so you have no dead zones throughout your house, fast speeds, and unbeatable bandwidth so you never have to stress about poor Wi-Fi performance again when you have your friends over, because that's embarrassing and no one's gonna want to come over to your house if your Wi-Fi sucks. And this particular setup can connect over 200 devices with unbeatable Wi-Fi speeds. Sounds great, looks great, but let's see if it functions just as nicely. Inside the box you have a user manual, a power cable, this time for the other router, a flat Ethernet cable, along with one Wi-Fi router, and two Wi-Fi routers. Now, as you can see, we have a very simple setup here with just two Wi-Fi routers, two power cables, and an Ethernet cable, and literally nothing else. Very simple. Now, taking a look at the actual routers themselves, they're very sleek with a nice matte white design. We have some Taotronics branding right here on the front in silver. Over on the back, we got some, important stuff on a sticker, and right underneath of that we have the USB 3.0 port, 4 gigabit Ethernet ports, the power port, as well as a power button. Down on the bottom we have some chrome feet so it can stand up. They are rubberized and they actually do provide some grip. Up here on top we're going to have some LED lighting, and really there's nothing else to see here. Very simple, very nice. Now, to be honest, from the exterior packaging to the interior packaging to the actual routers themselves, I'm very impressed with all the design cues. Looks very nice and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And now that we got some power, you can see those nice LED lights glowing. They actually look very nice, very sleek. Hey, turn off the studio lights. As you can see, the lights are very sleek, have a nice glow, not gonna keep you up at night, unless you're really sensitive to light. Hey, turn on the studio lights. So now that we got everything unboxed really easily, we're gonna get this set up and put it to the test. Alright, so now I have the router connected directly to the modem all the way over in the internet room. So now we're gonna actually get this set up. You're gonna go into the App Store and download the TT Router app and open it up. You're gonna register your account, get all set up, and once you're in here, we can actually paint your home in Wi-Fi. Let's do it. So let's begin. Yes, simple stuff. Next. Internet stable, connected. Sure, use Bluetooth. I guess we're gonna use Bluetooth to connect to it. And now, to be honest, I'm probably pretty far for Bluetooth. I was expecting it to connect with Wi-Fi. Alright, so I got closer to the router, got connected to Bluetooth. It was very simple. It instantly found it in the app, paired up with it, connected to the internet, told me to pick a Wi-Fi network, and now we're ready to connect to said Wi-Fi network. Although now I'm pretty far, so I'm not sure if it'll reach me without setting up the extra one, but let's try it. And we're connected successfully, very nice. And now I'm gonna just say I'm done for now. So we're connected to RodrickViews, the cloud is online, and there's a firmware update, so we might as well upgrade it. Alright, the upgrade got completed in less than 5 minutes, okay, and now we can actually take a look inside the app. As you can see, we have one device connected right now at 5 gigahertz, and that's right, because it's this phone right here. So very nice. You can see the network routers. We just have the main one right now, and you can actually turn on the LED lights or turn them off if you don't like them. I'm gonna just leave them on for now because I do like them. Although that's kind of annoying that you can't do anything until it clears the screen. Okay. More details. You can see firmware, IP address, serial number, MAC addresses for each individual network, and really not much to see in here. You can see what channels it's on. Can't really edit anything. And we can go to settings over here. Oh, and over here is where we have all the settings. Very nice. I've looked at a bunch of routers, and inside the app, they don't really have as many settings as they do on the web interface. So right here, this is nice because it looks like we have them. So you can do your guest network over here, parental control, radio settings, so you can change the channels and bandwidth, AI Wi-Fi optimization, all this stuff. Very nice. This is actually a pretty well thought out app. So now I'm actually impressed. We're getting 2 out of 3 bars on the 5 gigahertz network all the way over here. And that's impressive because a lot of routers don't make it over here without having the mesh set up. So we're actually gonna do a speed test right now and see how much internet speed we're getting even though we're all the way over here across on the other side of the world. So we're gonna just go. So for reference, we're supposed to be getting 1000 megabits per second down and 35 megabits per second up. It looks like right now we have 11 millisecond ping and 135 megabits per second down. That's actually not too bad because I've seen some other routers really struggle. Looks like the upload speed was maxed out, and no, it's going back up. All right, we're really close. Is it gonna make it? And it looks like we actually did hit 136 and about 35 megabits per second up. Very nice, very acceptable. You know, 136 is enough for most things. All right, so now I actually did a speed test in the room with the router with full signal strength to see what the maximum speed that we can pull is. And I was able to pull about 600 megabits per second down with a 12 millisecond ping, which is pretty acceptable out of 1000. As far as the upload speed goes, it did drop down, of course, just like it always does, but then it did branch its way all the way back up to about 35 megabits per second up, so, you know, pretty solid experience. Next, it was time to install the extra Wi-Fi mesh router setup, and this is actually really cool inside the app when you go to do it. As I walked closer to the router, it was inside of the green. It's like, okay, you can put the extra router right here to pick up the signal because it's close enough to get a good signal strength. As you walk further away from it, it starts going into the red, and it's like, no, you're too far away. Do not put the router here because the signal's not going to be good. So that's very cool because I haven't seen any other apps that did that where it lets you know where you should put the other routers to get a good signal. So I really like that. Now, as far as setting up the extra router, it was just as easy as setting up the main router. All I had to do was connect it with Bluetooth, and the app literally did everything for me. I just had to give it a name to the location, and it was ready to go. So now, as you can see, we have 2 network routers, main and halfway point, and then we also have 1 online device, just this phone right here. So can we actually see what it says? So it looks like the phone is still connected to the main location, which is weird because the other router's halfway between there. So I would think it would connect to that because it would have a stronger signal. Although we still only have 2 out of 3 bars, even though we have the mesh setup going. Although right now we have full bars, so I think it did switch over to the new router. Let's see. It still says main. Now we're back down to 2 bars. I don't know why it's not switching over to the stronger signal. Isn't that what mesh is supposed to do? Switch over to the stronger signal? But you know, just to be sure, let's do a little speed test real quick and see if it's the same as before. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be the same, so nothing has changed. I mean, maybe the signal strength is just good enough here that it's not deciding to switch over. And inside the app, we can actually do a speed test to see how fast the internet speed is going directly from the modem to the router. So let's actually take a look at that. Okay, looks like it's counting down from about 40 seconds, so I guess we just wait. I thought we'd be able to see it, but I guess not. Alright, so it looks like the actual secondary router, the mesh setup, is pulling 2 millisecond ping and 1049 megabits per second. That's really good. Now, how do we test the main router? Single point speed test. Okay, looks like we're testing the half speed again, and we're stuck here. Looks like we got about the same, 2.3 milliseconds and 1029 megabits per second down. So that's cool. Now, I'm not sure why we can't check the main router, but I mean, I guess if the half is pulling 1000 and the main one's definitely pulling 1000, so no problem there. We also have VPN settings here, so you can actually set up your VPN right on here in the app. Very nice. So now, I wonder if it changed. Are we connected to the halfway? Okay, we are connected to the halfway point on this phone now. It did switch over, so very nice. It's working as a mesh setup. We have full bars. So now let's do a speed test because it's apparently getting 1000 at the halfway point. So this should be able to pull something really fast. There we go. It's actually working. Look at that. Are we gonna hit 400? Okay, I'm getting impressed now. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, 399, so close. But as you can see, before when we were connected far away from the main router, we were pulling about 117 or so. Now we effectively tripled our speeds and the upload speed is still maxed out. Very nice. The ping is a little bit higher because we were at 11, now we're at 15, but I mean, the speed actually came through. Let me try that one more time just to be sure. Just to be sure. And there we go. Take a look at that. Right around 400 megabits per second down once again. Very nice. And the ping is actually back down to 11 milliseconds. Very nice. All right, guys, as you know, just to be sure, I had to go right next to the mesh router setup and test the speed to make sure everything's working fine. So I was able to pull right over 400 megabits per second down at about 424 megabits per second. So it was a little bit higher, although pretty much the same as even being far away from it. So the range is actually very good on all these routers. I'm actually very impressed because even the main one that's pretty far away is reaching me over here with, you know, usable speeds. As far as the upload speed went, we were maxed out at 35 megabits per second, of course, because it's not that much. It shouldn't be that hard to do. So I'm actually very impressed. I mean, the actual setup here is actually working great. Not only do the routers look amazing design-wise, I mean, they're really nice to look at, but the actual technology behind it is working fine. The mesh setup actually works. It transferred us over to the closer router with the better signal, got us more speed, even though we're all the way over here. And even if we weren't, the range for the original one is actually still very good. So you can definitely blanket your house with a few of these. Now, as far as the app went, that was like one of the best apps I've seen. I mean, even pairing up the extra routers to connect to the original router, I like how it tells you that, okay, you're too far, go a little closer if you want to have the best experience. Like, that's right there, that little thing, which isn't actually so little, but no one else really thought of it as far as I can tell. That right there changed the game. Plus, you can adjust a lot of settings inside of the app, so I could definitely recommend this setup if you're looking for a mesh setup and you don't care about Wi-Fi 6. So if you have this router set up already, let me know what you guys think of it, and let me know if it's working for you, because, I mean, it's working for me so far, and I got no complaints about it. I'm liking everything about it, other than it not being Wi-Fi 6, but, I mean, with the speeds that we're getting, maybe you don't need it.